It's a new week in the Crew Motorfest, and this week's theme is called French Rally, and this is my summit guide. Let's go! All right, let's get straight into it. The Summit Bundle this week will get you the Peugeot 205, the Citroen C3, and the Renault R5 Maxi Turbo. That bundle will cost you $827,000. It's a pretty cheap one this week, so I expect a lot more people to be participating in this one. Additional vehicles that you can use are the 110 for the Bullseye, as well as the Plane. You're going to need that for the Bullseye as well. Those parts don't matter at all. There's fair PvP happening on those ones, so everybody has the same parts. Now, as far as the long jump and the slalom, you're actually going to need a score breaker set for your rally cars. So make sure you get score breaker with pure and skilled on the rally category. The keys to this summit definitely are the cuts, and there is a rewind mechanic on one of the races, so we'll get into that in just a minute. But yeah, there's a lot of little cheeses, little cuts, things that you can do to really improve your time. The rewards for this week are 100,000 XP, 100,000 bucks, 100 prestige tickets, and the rare Blaze of Glory smoke. All right, here are the pro settings for the vehicles I just mentioned. Then we'll get into the events. All right, real quick before we get into the events, this summit has a modifier that requires you to be in sequential gearbox. So for anybody who's on automatic and has never played sequential, I have a guide linked in the description of the video. Check that out. Start to learn manual. This is actually a very good opportunity for you guys to learn manual and to increase your skills as a racer. I don't like that they're forcing us into it, but the fact that they are forcing us into it, it just means you have the opportunity to grow as a racer, and that's the God honest truth. So there's a guide linked in the description. Check that out. Also, there's no NOS on this summit at all, so you know, your pace is really what matters here. All right, the first event is going to blow your mind. There's a couple of things that you're going to need to know for this event. First of all, this is a loaned vehicle. This is the Ogmos that we're going to be getting as a platinum reward for next week's summit. We get to preview it here in this week's summit, which is actually pretty cool. It actually grips up very, very nicely. It performs pretty well for this event, so it's not like it's a bother to drive. Anyways, this event is full of really cheesy tactics. I'm sorry, but it just is what it is. If you're looking for the best time possible that you can get, you definitely have to cheese it. And with that said, you need to have rewind turned on. Make sure you go into your difficulty settings, turn rewind on for this event. All right, so there's two keys to this one. There's the rewind mechanic that I'm going to show you, and then there's also the way you're taking these turns. So for this one, we're looking at fourth gear for these turns. So when you get to fourth, you're going to cut this as close to the trees as possible. You're going to want to make this, every single lap is going to be like that. On the first lap, you're going to make a full commit, just do the lap normally. Also cutting as close to those trees as possible. On the second lap, you start your rewind mechanic. So here we go, into fourth again. Cut as close to the trees as possible. And then you're going to go through this cut right here through the trees. And you're going to hit the rewind button when you get to the flag. Oop, rewind all the way to the finish line. You're going to rewind all the way. And you'll notice that the lap counter, once I stop my rewind, the lap actually counts. So basically what you're doing is hitting the last checkpoint on the lap, rewinding all the way back to the beginning of the lap and getting that checkpoint as well, thus starting your next lap. You're going to do that every single time. So you notice in fourth for this turn, try to keep it together. That time I kind of messed it up a little bit. Go into the trees here and then rewind when you get here. You can hit it a little bit early, but you basically just rewind when you hit the flag. Stop the rewind right here on this incline and you keep going. So let me show you what the last lap looks like. When you're rewinding on lap 5, rewinds, and you actually don't even have to touch anything. When you get to the finish line, it'll just finish your race for you. There you go. That's a 34. That's pretty good. It's like a top 5 time. So I think you guys can definitely do that. Let's move on. All right, this next event is with the Lone C3. This one, again, is all about keeping your speed. I mean, this one is really, really important to stay as close to this small dirt road as possible. When you get out into the grass, you're going to be losing time. So try to stay on the road as much as possible. It includes this first turn. There's a lot of little things to do in this race, and there's not a lot of cuts. So you have this here. Stay on this dirt road as much as possible. You will cut this checkpoint here just a little to the left, and then get back to your dirt road. I'm just going to kind of play this whole thing and talk over it because there's a lot of little things. This jump, you're going to cut left hard because that's the way the road goes. And then you're going to cut this checkpoint to the right here because you don't want to fall off the backside of that hill. Again, you're going to turn over, go down this hill a little bit. You'll get some speed, go towards this little tree. Point the car to the right as you jump off. You notice I sort of flick the car to the right. Flick it to the right and downshift into 5th. You want to be in 5th when you land because you need to control your speed going near this checkpoint. You want to go to the right of this checkpoint like that, then flick it back and get that checkpoint. I barely got that checkpoint, but you can see you can cut it a lot. Again, stay on the dirt road. Stay on the dirt road here as well. And then again, try to stay as close to the dirt road as possible. You can cut this corner here. I didn't really mean to flick the car like that, but it just happened. And then on this section down here, again, try to stay on the road. I kind of went a little bit wide there. You're going to be cutting these hills. So straight through each of these hills. When you get to this checkpoint flag here, you're going to reset. So boom, reset. And then you're going to go wide to the right here. Start drifting back to hit this checkpoint. And then when you get to this checkpoint, you're going to drift it again. I messed this up and I let before this street here, you need to start your drift, because if not, your car is going to do this where it goes straight for a while and it goes wide and you're not going to be having the correct angle. I got lucky because I hit that thing right there and it pointed me in the right direction, but that one could be cleaner for sure. That's it. Let's move on. All right, the next event is with the loaned Renault, and this one is pretty simple. There's one cut that you need to worry about, and there's a path. So I'll take you on the path real quick. This first part is very self-explanatory. Just make the turn. You want to cut this corner as close to the wall as possible, and it goes straight through here. Get on this wall, and then get off of it right towards the end there. Take the jump. And then slow down for this one here. Just downshift in the air to 3rd. And then after this tunnel is where the cut is. So you're going to be driving straight here. You can go ahead and just like let off the throttle a little. Go into 4th and then get yourself onto this berm. And that's how you're going to cut that. And when you get here, you want to get back onto this berm as well to help you make the turn. You can sort of drift this corner. I did a little too much. This car is rear happy, so if you get into a drift, just make sure you let off the throttle. You gotta be real patient with some of these corners. This car is just very, very slippery. And that's basically the lap. You're just gonna continue to do that. All right, let's move on. All right, the next event is with this Peugeot, and it's your car, so make sure you have your parts. This one is basically just Legendary X Rivalry. So what you wanna do here is just make sure you're hitting every single gutter. There's a bunch of gutters in this one, and if you're going slower in the gutter, then stop taking the gutters, but definitely hit these gutters. Notice I'm in 5th here. As I enter the gutter, I shift into 4th. So I'll do it again here. We're in 5th. I let off the gas to enter into 4th mid-turn and accelerate out. You're basically allowing the car to slow down in the gutter, and then you're accelerating out of it. If you enter the gutter in 4th, it won't be as smooth. See, I'm in 4th, but it's because I need to be in 3rd when I'm accelerating. So I'm in 1 gear higher as I enter. Into 3rd again, mid-turn. Into 4th, into 3rd. So I'm constantly playing with these gears, and being that this is a manual-only summit, this is going to have, you know, a great effect on whether or not you do well. But this is a great opportunity for you guys to grow this summit. Now, there is one cut after this turn here. You'll go to the left of this flag, go up over the mountain, and then kind of brake towards the top here so that you can turn and go through this checkpoint here. That's kind of it. The rest of it is just staying on the pavement and hitting these gutters. Actually, there's one cut across the grass here. Let me show you at the bottom of this hill. So the very bottom of the hill, you're going this way. After this checkpoint, you'll kind of swing to the left, cut this corner here. You can go left of the flag and then cut this after the bridge as well. And that's it. Let's move on. The next event is with that Renault again, but make sure you have the max perf level parts on this one. Obviously, nitro doesn't matter because we don't have any nitro on this one, but Yeah, so there's a few little tricky spots in this one. I'll just fast forward to those. This first part is pretty self-explanatory. So let me get up here, fast forward. All right, here, I actually like to cut this right after the wall ends. So as soon as you hit this checkpoint, I like to cut this, because you have to cut it anyways. Once you're on the road, you kind of have to make that a tough corner. So I cut all the way over there. I stay to the right here, try to get as much speed as possible for this water. And then I keep it in fifth for that water, then shift to fourth coming out of it. It's the way you keep the most speed possible. Here, you're gonna go straight across. And then this is a nice easy turn here, but cut this one and then cut back this way. You can go straight across after that little tent, cut hard left on this one, and then hard right on this one. And I kind of oversteered there, but it is what it is. This car is kind of tough to handle. Stay to the inside here, then use NOS and handbrake to flick the car there. Go straight towards the wall and slide into it. I didn't mean to double tap the wall there. I wanted to just hit once and then accelerate out, but it is what it is. And that's pretty much it, man. The rest of this race is just about keeping your speed, staying on this dirt road, stay on the pavement when you get to it. So that's it. Let's move on. All right, the last event is with the Citroen C3. Again, make sure you have max parts on it. This one is going to frustrate a lot of people. There's a lot of different little things that you can do to fall off. So I just want to point out some things. On this first turn, you can take it full speed. Just make sure you flick the car into a drift like that. And then when you get to this checkpoint going down the hill here, you can go left and down the hill, give you some speed. The second you regain with the road here, notice I'm already downshifting. I'm in second. Right there, when you regain, get your car into first gear and start braking. You need to brake really, really heavy to get around this turn, because if not, you're flying off of it. Now, when you go across this bridge, you're going to cut left again and just sort of like wall ride this little hill like that. And then be careful again with your braking. I went very slow on that corner because I didn't want to fall off. You can go a little bit faster than that. Be careful in this corner as well. This is one you can overshoot. I kind of went a little bit wide. Again, that's a very tough corner as well. You're basically just surviving here. When you get here, you can kind of cut to the left a little bit because the road goes that way. And again, here on the jump, you're going to cut to the left as well. I actually went a little too far right, hit some rocks, and lost a lot of speed. So try to cut over a little bit earlier. Stay on the road as much as possible. You're going to lose speed if you're in the tall grass. So just make sure you're staying on the road. Don't hit any of the rocks, man. The rocks are terrible. On this part, stay left. And then you can drift into this turn. And begin your descent here. You can drift this one as well. I was a little bit out of control, but I figured it out. And then this one, you want to go at a sort of an angle to the right. And angle the car as you're going down. Now I'm hitting trees and everything else, so wastes a lot of speed. When you're here, you kind of want to stay. I hit a rock there. I didn't mean to, but you want to stay to the left a little bit and slow down as you're going through these trees, because you want to turn all the way around when you get to that checkpoint there. That's it. All right, let's get to the feet. All right, the bullseye is very easy. Just make sure you go through each of the bullseye parts, both for the car and the plane. I used the 110 just because, I don't know, it was faster than the rally car off-road, so that's what I was doing. You can use whatever you want because the parts are the same for everybody. So if you don't have score breaker parts, it's okay. This one you'll be fine. So anyway, that's it, really. You just have to get every bullseye and you'll get a nice score. For the long jump, it's pretty easy. Just back up, go down the hill, and take the jump. You definitely want to have score breaker parts for rally, though. If you have score breaker, you'll get a good score here on this one. If you don't have score breaker, it might be a little bit challenging, but I think you can still do it without it. Even if you have like just, some purple parts with skilled, I think that would help. But yeah, that's basically it. You just go down here, use some NOS in the air. If you just line it up here with the mini map, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here until I start going. So yeah, when you get to these parts where you're jumping, use air NOS to get yourself up to top speed before you get to the jump. That's basically it. I mean, I didn't do it very well at all. Nost in the air, and yep, full score. So, all right, let's get to the last one. All right, and the slalom is very easy as well. Just have score breaker parts. You don't even have to do it fast. You just have to go around every single gate. Like I've said before, these events are pretty much pointless when it comes to score breaker. You don't really have to try. You just have to have the parts. So anyways, that is it. All right, here are my final scores. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about this, send me a DM on Instagram or Discord. I read every single message that comes my way. Thank you guys so much. I hope this helps, and I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.